We just talked about an SEC-ACC matchup. Let's talk about one more here. This is Monday night, the key matchup on Monday night. It's actually the only college football game on Monday night. It is the Tennessee Volunteers making the short trip down to Atlanta, Georgia to play in Bobby Dodd Stadium against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Looks like Tennessee's laying 3, a total of 56. You think Tennessee can go into Atlanta and win by more than a field goal?
Well, they can, but it's going to be upset city, baby, like Dick Vitale. I really like Georgia Tech in this matchup. Couple of factors. It's the triple option attack. It's a lot different in game speed than it is in practice situation. You're talking about a Georgia Tech team that was 3-0 last year against SEC opponents. They beat Vanderbilt, Georgia, and Kentucky, and really dominated both Vanderbilt and Kentucky in those ball games. They came from behind against Georgia. You're talking about a Tennessee team that loses defensive end Derek Barnett along with their top linebacker, Jalen Reeves-Maybin. With them in the lineup, Drew, this defense allowed 218 rushing yards per game. They allowed 4 opponents last year to rush for over 300. They allowed 353 to Texas A&M, 409 to Alabama, 443 to Kentucky, and 420 to Missouri. Even though Georgia Tech doesn't have their leading rusher, Dedrick Mills, that was kicked off the team, to me it doesn't matter. It's a scheme advantage for Georgia Tech. You need big defensive linemen that can clog running lanes and disrupt the timing of the triple option. If Georgia Tech jumps up early like I expect them to, I think it's going to be a long day for Tennessee. They have a new quarterback in Dormandy. They lose Alvin Kamara and Jalen Hurd along with wide receiver Josh Malone. Those are major losses for Butch Jones, coupled with the fact that he's on the hot seat. I don't care what anybody says. Butch Jones needs to come through this year. Otherwise, in my opinion, I think he'll be on the outside looking in for a job. So I think the pressure's on Tennessee. The game is played in Atlanta, so that'll benefit Georgia Tech. 33-20, Georgia Tech gets the victory over Tennessee in this ball game.
I like it, Joe. Obviously, you know your stuff, and we'll be doing this every Wednesday. Find Joe Lisi on Twitter at @GoForThe2. Check out his work at his website, also at @GoForThe2. Joe, any other thoughts, maybe overall thoughts going into week 1 college football, the opening week, maybe something for newer bettors to take in, what to look for in week 1, to also use going into week 2 betting? Anything like that you wanna let the listeners know?
Yeah, I think the one thing that you want to keep an eye out for is understand where teams were strong or weak from the previous year, and more importantly, does it carry through in week number 1 or more importantly, week number 2 of the season? That's what you really need to key on. I mean, you could look at a team like USC. They were 5-1 last year when they rushed for over 200 yards. They won those ball games by 24 points per game. On the flip side, they held 6 of 13 opponents under 100 yards and won those ball games by 20.5 points per game. If you understand where teams are strong and weak from the previous year, you have a good read of where they can possibly have strengths and weaknesses in the upcoming season, especially in September. You want to see if those trends continue. That'll help you get a gauge as to where these teams stand in the early part of the year and make you win some money, especially in September and October.
All right, thanks, Joe. He's Joe Lisi. I'm Drew Martin. We'll be back next Wednesday with more college football breakdowns.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.